Hello, everybody. So excited to see you yet here again. And I'm so glad to bring to you a conversation with an amazing woman named Pham. Pham has been a member of our inner circle for quite a bit of time now, and she has been so inspirational to so many people in the group and sharing what she's discovering along the path to really perfecting and mastering AID and the miracles that she's finding along the way. So for those of you that are just in the class for the first time and dipping your toe in this, really starting to get your hands dirty, really starting to dig in and make this happen for you, I wanted to introduce you to Kim so you can hear a little bit from her about what she's found, what her experiences are as she's taken this from just the first couple steps you get in being part of the webinar and then moving into what it is to really embed this into your life in a long-term way. So Kim, thank you so much for taking your time to chat with us. I really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, no problem. I'm happy to do it.
Excellent. So of course I have a couple questions for you about what has been your experience as an inner circle member when you were first in the class, maybe you were finding some things. What has been would you say is the biggest advantage for you in having made this a more permanent part of your daily practice?
Well, when I first started in the class, I was doing it step by step, which is really exciting because I could really get into each step of the way, the appreciations and then the intentions and then the delegation and the miracles. I love that. And then I was, trying to figure out, I was thinking about, I knew I probably would go over to the larger group and I was just thinking about it. And I'm so glad I did because once I got in there, you're in with a group of people who've just been doing it for a longer time and they have kind of more experience with it, I guess, and they're really encouraging. And so I found that I really enjoyed doing that, moving from, graduating from the class to going over to that other side. And it was interesting to be on that other side and then see the new class because you have a different perspective when you do that. And then I know that that's what they were doing because a lot of the people who are in the inner circle are doing both. And it was, I just was really appreciating how much it was for them to do that, to dip their toes in both sides and really support the new people and then also get all of that rich, good stuff from the inner circle.
For sure. And so what would you say is before you kind of dove into AID at all, what were the things that were on your mind that you really wanted to see be different? And what differences have you seen from this? What difference has this process made for you?
Everything. When I first started, so a little bit about me, I'm in a place of just major transitions and going through divorce and going from being a single mom to figuring out I was a stay-at-home mom and now being the person who has to make a living and be the breadwinner for my family. And so that was two at the same time. And then thirdly, my house situation has been just unstable and I don't know where we're going to be living. And so that was another major transition for me. And so at the time when I joined, I was trying to start two businesses and just feeling very unstable, feeling very unsure, feeling really scared, frankly, and not sure what to do about it. And I remember talking to Thatch, but I also have always believed that, one thing leads to the next, and I kind of follow my intuition. I knew I met Thatch for a reason. Actually met Stephanie too, you for a reason, and I remember having these conversations. And then just one thing led to the next, and then I found myself in, with this opportunity to be in this group. And even then I was like, I don't know, because I'm so busy. I've got all this stuff on my plate. I don't know if I can do it. And I don't know if I can do it in the way that I'd want to be able to do it. I thought, I'm kind of a perfectionist about stuff. And I'm like, well, I don't have time to dive in the way I really want to. But I'm so glad I did, because it was really just taking a few minutes out of my day that really made all the difference for the whole day, and then changing things over time in my life. And so I started noticing miracles happening all the time. I started noticing things that bills that I had, like an $8,000 medical bill I had, just got written off. And I would call and I was like, that's written off. And, being able to have this tool of going back to appreciation and going, really deeply connecting with how I'm feeling and, that the deep, what Dash talks about all the time, just deeply emotionally connecting with your appreciations has made the big difference for me. And having that tool to go there when things start sliding down, because they always will. You always get those moments where things just something happens, and then you feel yourself starting to have these negative thoughts, and then to have that tool to know that you can always go back to it to do your appreciations and get you back on track.
And so being able to get back on track, I hear all the transitions you're going through. And so to have that tool to always bring you back around to something that was at least one thing that felt stable or certain. And then, of course, you were clearly really taking the bull by the horns and really aligning with that, because you were manifesting all kinds of things. Like you said, a medical bill was written off. I remember I would seem like almost every day you were really good at noticing the miracles, big and small, that were showing up in your life, and really opening up the receiving part of what that has been. I think in not only asking, but being a willing receiver.
Yeah, for sure. Like I remember I would do these delegations in the morning. I would, do my appreciations, intentions, and then I would ask for something, and I just let it go in the morning, and then I go about my day. And then that, I remember, like, in the evening, I would be meeting somebody, talking to somebody, and then it wouldn't be till even after that I'd realize, wow, this is exactly what I'd asked for earlier in the day. And I totally forgotten about it, but it showed up right away. And that's what I was noticing the most, was that, like, I would ask for something and then it would show up. I would ask for something and it would show up. And, and I would win stuff all the time. I would, I remember being in my networking meetings, and I would, like, have the thought, like, I really would like that. And then they would call my name, and this happened, like, over and over again. It would happen. The craziest time was when it happened when I didn't even know that I had bought raffle tickets. and I thinking that I wanted these things, and it didn't happen just once when I didn't buy a raffle ticket, but twice. Because first I got a wine bottle that I was sitting there thinking, I wish I'd bought a ticket, and I didn't. And then I said, because I really would love that wine bottle. And then so she pulled my name and she's like, Kim Pham, and I was shocked. And then I thought, okay, that, I don't know what happened there, but I'm just gonna take my wine bottle and be real happy. And then the person walked up, totally appreciate it. And then this person walked up who I had just seen coming in earlier that day, and I thought, I'm going to meet that person. And then that person comes, and I didn't know how. And then the person comes up, and I actually thought I was going to meet him in, like, a round of networking, and that didn't happen. And so I thought, oh, well, I don't know, whatever, I'll meet him somewhere else. And then he comes up to the front after I win the wine bottle, and then I'm really thinking, okay, I'm kicking myself now because I didn't buy raffle tickets, and there's no way that could happen again. And then she goes, Kim Pham, and I was like, oh my god! And he was and so not only did I see him once, but I saw him 4 times. So that is, I just feel like those are the kinds of things that have been happening to me every single month. And I remember going to the gift meeting, and I thought, in fact, I know he's going to call my name, and it was like, Kim Pham. And this is the kind of stuff that has been happening since I've been doing the AID, that I think I've really gotten back in touch with, my connectedness with source, my, kind of knowing, like, these things can happen, and trusting it, and trusting the process more. And so I guess that's the big thing for me that I found.
Yeah, and what difference does that make for you to have that trust, that connectedness to that? When you think about how to map out your future, how does that knowing make a difference for you?
Makes a huge difference for me, because so much of what I'm going through now, I've got so much uncertainty going on. And I think that really I'm being really called to trust, to know that, everything that I've done to make efforts to try to straighten out my life, and, make everything stable, and, all the things that I've been really working hard to do, I'm at the point right now where I don't have any real stability from the outside looking in. If you were to look at my life, it's really uncomfortable for a lot of people, because it doesn't look like I have a lot of stability. But I really feel like I'm being called to trust more, to know that, my efforting is never going to be as great as what the power that creates the world, right? The universe can do. So
Yeah.
it's really like, I think it's so hard for all this to happen, but really, how hard can that be when, when you look around and you see everything that's there? So that's what I realized. It was like, I'm efforting, I'm trying to do all this stuff, but now it's time for me to stop and to be still and to try to focus and listen more and to trust the universe to do
And
it.
you really made this a daily practice. You really become committed to the process of putting this in service in your life on a very consistent basis. So it's no wonder that you are seeing that more and more. And of course, kind of going from the first 30 days that was the webinar, that's a great jumping off point. But I'm really seeing, and even from the outside looking in, just watching your AIDs and looking at what you're asking for and then seeing it show up, it's so inspiring, it's so exciting. It's clear to me that you are very dedicated to this process and that you've really taken all that inner circle community has to offer and really made it your own and brought it to life by being super committed to that. In fact, I know that you have a way that you think about it. You had posted one time about you think of the inner circle as kind of like a gym membership. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So I just had this, I was just, I was doing something and then it just came to me. And I really felt like, there's so much community in the AID group, in the inner circle. And I just was thinking, it's kind of like going to the gym. You can work out on your own, you could do that and you could probably get some results, but it's so much more fun when you're doing it in a community. And I think you get results faster when you're doing it in a community. You're getting feedback that you don't get when you're on your own. And that's just what I thought. It's like 1,000 times better to do this as a community than to just try to do this by yourself. And I think that's why we joined a gym, because we tried it by ourselves and we realized, okay, well, I can get the results, but it's not as fun and it's a lot more work and I don't get any feedback. And so, I'm not going to get the results as fast as I would if I did this in the community and went to the gym and paid the membership and did that. So yeah,
Very
that's what
well
I thought.
said. And I think too, like you said, there's so much expertise and so much wisdom and knowledge of the individual people in the community that it's almost like we all get little mini personal trainers along with our gym membership too, that you kind of have that sense of
Yeah.
community and
Yeah.
the people that are kind of looking at your stuff and holding that excitement and holding that energy and holding that space for us as we're out striving for the next thing. So, but I
Yeah.
think you make a good point, because I hear so many people say, okay, I got this. I'm going to try it on my own now. And I'm all for being empowered, for sure. And there's kind of a smoother path of being part of a community that really helps make it happen. So what would you say? What would your advice be? I guess as we wrap this up and as your final thoughts, what would your advice be to somebody who's kind of on the fence? You kind of were talking about being on the fence, and we're really thinking about, does the inner circle really make that big of a difference? Does it matter? Should I, shouldn't I? What advice would you give someone in helping them to make the decision that's right for them?
I would say that I think it's just such a great thing to do this, because you have the expertise, you have accountability. I was on the fence before, and and I thought, oh, maybe I could do this, but I actually know for a fact that if I had tried to do this by myself, I wouldn't have gotten very far, because because there's those days, there's those days when you just don't feel like it, or you just you're not doing well, and so you don't want to get out there and say, oh, I'm not really doing very well, but I'm going to have to try to do these appreciations anyway. It's harder to do that, but then you have the community that says, hey, Kim, where have you been? And I can tell you for a fact that I notice if I've gone a day or two, I don't do it very often, but when that has ever happened, I notice a big difference. I notice a difference in my energy. I notice a difference in what shows up for me. And then I miss it. I miss like getting back there and saying hi to everybody and seeing everybody. And you learn so much about what other people post. So it's not even, when you go to a gym, you're seeing what other people are doing, and then other people are seeing you, they're cheering you on, and they're giving you feedback. And I think that feedback it's just invaluable. You need the feedback. And so being a part of the community, you see the feedback, and then you take the leadership role too, and then you give people feedback, and that also just creates this community feeling, and then you're supporting each other and helping each other get there and be really happy for each other. So I've loved that about, I say, if you're going to do this, I highly recommend doing it, like getting in there and trying it out. What can you lose? And I just firmly believe now in investing in yourself. That's such a big thing that I think when people don't do that enough. I think people think that maybe they can just do it by themselves. But I just say, you know, go invest in yourself. It's so important.
Right, and you are a great testament to that, Kim, because certainly I love the story about when you were on the fence about whether you were going to go to an Abraham event or not, and so you were delegating it, and then found that the perfect amount of money came to you with people asking for the amazing, was it egg rolls that you make?
Yeah, egg rolls. So
Yeah,
yeah, it was
the perfect
good.
order that paid for your. It's like you just are so good at just having things just line up, and I hear that that's really about the dedication you have to this process and the trust that you're really flexing that trust muscle and being able to see that you have the power to do this, and in doing so you are certainly inspiring so many other people with your leadership and your example of creating these magnificent miracles. And like you said, even when we don't feel like it, but the community steps up, as I know that you step up for others in the community. And we certainly appreciate your example, your leadership, and your willingness to share a little bit of your story with us here today. It makes a difference, and I hope you know how much it means to us.
Oh yeah, no problem. You guys have meant the world to me, so thank you very much.
It's our pleasure. Thank you. So certainly any of you that can resonate with what Kim is talking about, and you know yourself well enough to know that you'd love to say that this is the discipline that you'll hold on to without the accountability and support. But I think we all know that not only, as Kim says, not only do we maybe do a little better, but it's a lot more fun when we're doing it together. So thanks again, Kim.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And we'll talk to all of you again soon. If you have any questions or comments, then feel free to post your questions below. And as always, we'll be responsive to get you the best information we have coming to you. Good night, everybody. See you later. Thank you, Kim.